There's an old comment buried deep under a YouTube video from 2012. Just a few words, misspelled, easy to overlook. Wonder what happened to them? At the time, it was a fair question. Two young men stand in that grainy video, rapping about money, survival, and street life. One of them went by the name of Chaos. For a brief moment, he looked like another kid chasing a future through music. 13 years later, that comment has an answer. And the truth is far darker than anyone watching that video could have imagined. Jazz Reed, once known as Chaos, is now a man sentenced to spend most of his...
You know, from that name, Chaos alone, fam, it just sounds like, yeah. He means chaos. You know what I'm saying?
behind bars. Not for music, but for a calculated series of shootings that left a father paralyzed, a little girl traumatized, and a community shaken.
On the 24th of November last year, he shot an 8-year-old girl and her 34-year-old father as they sat with the other
Man said he shot an 8-year-old girl and her 38-year-old father. Like say that's just normal. What the fuck? Like, bro, the streets has no rules, bro.
Bruh.
No rules, bro. But this is dark. Like, that girl, I know right now for the rest of her life, she's traumatized by this, bro. She's got shot. She's got hit in the crossfire, and her dad's been hit too. Do you know how mad that is for her to go through at that age, bro? 8 years old. Mad.
Members in a car on Ladbroke Grove in Notting Hill.
That's just crazy.
This is the story of how a former drill rapper disappeared and re-emerged wearing a Deliveroo bag, armed with a gun. Reed grew up around Ladbroke Grove in West London, an area split sharply between postcard streets and harder hidden corners. He was part of a group known as P Block, named after Portobello Road, but not the tourist version. This was the northern end, rougher, poorer, and far less forgiving. As a teenager, Reed found early attention through music. Under the name Chaos, he rapped alongside friends, boasting about grafting for money. Later, he would admit that he had been dealing drugs since childhood, long before most kids understand what money even is. For him, it wasn't ambition, it was survival. But music didn't last. In 2012, Reed was arrested. The following year, he was convicted of conspiracy to supply cocaine and sentenced to 5 years in prison. When he came out, the landscape had changed. New names had taken over. Younger rappers had the spotlight. Chaos was no longer relevant. And while the music faded, the criminal life didn't. Reed kept his head down. He moved away from Ladbroke Grove, settling in Uxbridge. To most people, he was invisible, but beneath the surface, he remained involved in drugs, still connected, still dangerous. Then, in the autumn of 2024, something snapped. What followed was a 6-week spree of targeted violence, all carried out in the same chilling way. On the 9th of October, Reed hired a car and drove back to his old area. He stopped at a flat on the Swinbrook estate, the home of someone completely unconnected to what was about to happen. From there, he collected 2 things: a converted e-bike and a green Deliveroo rucksack. It wasn't coincidence, it was camouflage. Disguised as a delivery rider, Reed travelled to a block of flats and waited. When a 27-year-old man opened the communal door, Reed fired a single shot into his thigh. Then he rode away. The victim survived. The shooting barely made the news. But it wasn't over. Just over a month later, on the 11th of November, Reed repeated the process. Same disguise, same method. This time, he targeted another man in North Kensington.
Bruh. That's how niggas get bagged, you know. You're doing the same. You're doing the same beating repeatedly, like, bro. Like, I'm not saying do crime, kids. I'm not saying do crime. I don't agree with crime. Crime is not good to do. But I'm just saying, if you were to, hypothetically speaking, if you were to do that, at least switch up the thing, gang. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least switch up the thing. But Donnie weren't stupid, though.
4 shots were fired, all of them missed. 13 days later, Reed came back for him. It was the evening of the 24th of November. A family was arriving home after celebrating an 8-year-old girl's birthday.
What are you saying?
In the car were her...
What are you saying? Donnie came back, bro. Donnie came back for the same brother. He said, yeah, man. He must have had some mad dramas, bro. Some mad calms in mind, man, bro. Because that's crazy, fam. That's crazy. Like, you slap, man, bro. Just leave it as that, man. Come on, man. Let's not do crime, kids. Let's not do crime. Just get your money.
Parents and a 2-year-old sibling. As the car pulled up, Reed opened fire. 11 shots. 5 bullets tore into the father's body. His back, chest, abdomen, pelvis. 2 of them severed his spinal cord. He survived, but his life as he knew it...
Mad. Thank God my man survived, you know what I'm saying? Thank God, but damn. That's crazy. Now, let me see that again. Bro.
Missed. 13 days later, Reed came back for him.
13.
It was the evening of the 24th of November. A family was arriving home after celebrating an 8-year-old girl's birthday. In the car were her parents and a 2-year-old sibling. As the car pulled up, Reed opened fire. 11 shots. 5 bullets tore into the father's body. His back, chest, abdomen, pelvis.
Man
2
said
of them
11
severed his
shots, bro. 11 shots. Thank God he survived, though.
cord. He survived, but his life as he knew it ended in that moment. He would never walk again. 2 stray bullets struck the 8-year-old girl. One hit her foot. The other lodged deep in her hip, where it remains to this day, because doctors cannot safely remove...
Bro.
The families...
Bro. That's crazy, bro. I don't even know what to say. I'm not even gonna cap. I don't even know what to say. That's just crazy. That's just fucking crazy.
collapsed in seconds.
It was on the 24th of November 2024 that Reed finally succeeded. Again, in disguise, he arrived here to Southern Row in Ladbroke Grove, firing 11 shots at a car where the 8-year-old girl was in the passenger seat.
More than a year later, the child's mother would stand in court and describe a life that no longer felt real. She spoke of living in a nightmare, of the sickness she felt knowing a bullet still sat inside her daughter's body. She described the guilt that consumed her, replaying that evening again and again, wishing she could have protected her child. The little girl, once confident and outgoing, became withdrawn. Loud noises terrified her. She asked constantly if the bad man was coming back. Parks were no longer safe. Darkness was frightening. Even films had to be switched off in case of sudden bangs. Trauma turned to anger. Fear turned to pain. Her childhood was stolen. Meanwhile, the father, once active, social, present, was confined to a care home. His relationship with his children strained by distance and disability. The family lost not just safety, but the foundation of their lives. Detectives quickly realized the shootings were connected. They began an enormous...
You saying he put him in a care home, bro? Fuck. They said we need to stop the fucking... We need to stop the fucking crime in the streets, bro. And put in our kids and women at danger. Let alone a brother to brother, fam. It's just, yeah, bro. Like, it's just not, yeah.
Of CCTV footage tracing the same Deliveroo rider appearing again and again. Phone data, number plate recognition, every movement mapped. The rider wasn't real.
Jazz Reed's offending was carefully planned and carried out by a man intent on committing murder. He went to extreme lengths to commit these crimes and attempted to cover his tracks, disposing of mobile phone SIM cards after each shooting and changing vehicles in an attempt to evade detection.
Eventually, the trail led back to Uxbridge.
Mate, I've obviously been arrested on the suspicion of attempted murder.
When police raided Reed's home, they uncovered a loaded pistol buried beneath a concrete slab outside. His DNA was on the weapon, on the grip, the muzzle, matching the gun used in the final attack.
EVE Online is a vast universe. A large...
More DNA linked him to bullet casings from an earlier shooting. Reed claimed he had been set up. He said the gun had been planted, that he was being framed over a drug debt.
The drug dealer denied being the gunman and claimed he was set up over a £10,000 debt, and the gun found at his home was planted.
The jury didn't believe him. In November 2025, he was convicted of attempted murder, multiple counts of wounding with intent, and repeated firearm offences. The prosecution argued he was so dangerous he deserved a life sentence, pointing to the planning, the disguise, the complete disregard for who might be hit. The judge stopped short of life, but the sentence was devastating. 43 years. 38 to be served in custody, followed by 5 years on licence.
London's so-called Deliveroo gunman has been found guilty of shooting an 8-year-old girl during
43 years, and he's what? How old?
a spree. The Old Bailey heard how 33-year-old Jazz Reed would drive a hire car to an area, change into his Deliveroo disguise, complete with a takeaway box, and cycle an e-bike to the location of his intended targets. On the 24th of November last year, he shot an 8-year-old girl and her 34-year-old father as they sat with the other family members in a car on Ladbroke Grove in Notting Hill.
Bro, he's dying in jail, you know. You know he's dying in jail. If he's 33 and he got a 43-year sentence and he's got to do at least 30 something of that, bro, you know he's dying in jail. When he comes out of jail, he's gonna be at least 70. When he comes out of jail and comes off license, he's going to be 76. So by the time he's even 76, well, he's going to be 70. He's going to be popped down, brought down. It's dark.